Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real World Blockchain Podcast. This episode brought to you by Web3 Enablers, blockchain payment app on Salesforce. I am with my partner in crime, Zoe Bredeman. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Gautier. How are you?
I'm good. I'm well. At Mutual Knowledge Systems and at Web3 Enabler, we guys are making a lot of different pieces of tech, and sometimes we're setting foot on the land of AI, but just from time to time. And I have an interesting news today for you. AI related tokens outperform wider crypto markets. So major AI related tokens have rallied in the past 24 hours, much more investors and bull runners than all the other tokens. So what do you think about that? Do you think it's because these tokens are promising, or do you think it's because of the buzzwords and because now everyone is all about AI, and so the gains are just mechanically here because people want to invest in that? That's funny. I found it funny, so I wanted to know what you think about that one.
So I wouldn't be surprised if if quite a bit of it has to do with the hype. However, there are definitely benefits in terms of using AI for design, not limited to the crypto space. So I wouldn't be shocked if that also factored in somehow. For example, for scalability, for general kind of technical capabilities of various sorts, also would play in. Because I've definitely heard about Singularity Net quite a bit for a while now,
Mm.
so it's been around. But other examples I don't know as much about. So
Oh well, we can cite Akash Network and the Graph and Golem and Arkham. These four tokens are the most famous today because those experienced a double-digit gain yesterday, so that was kind of huge. Um, let's see how it works. But indeed, I would be very happy to see an analysis by experts. But at the moment, it's interesting to see that many people are all about AI, and that's very understandable because of how this tech is transforming our lives. But I wouldn't be surprised to see in the next few months many shitcoins related to AI. We had shitcoins related to NFTs. We had shitcoins related to so many pieces of tech. I wouldn't be surprised to see many shitcoins related to AI. So at the moment, these tokens are or maybe may not be well designed. We should make an analysis out of that. But that's quite interesting to see that at the moment people are all over the place, and I wouldn't be surprised, just like you, if there was 90% of hype on that. But maybe the future is going to prove us wrong. Another cool news, you told me that you had seen something about Metamask, isn't it? Haven't you?
yeah, so in addition to how certain technologies such as AI might be used in certain tokens and certain Web3 and blockchain tech, another thing is interoperability and anything that enhances usability. So I was really excited to see that MetaMask, one of the leading crypto wallets, is now has built-in Bitcoin support, which is really exciting because
Oh,
Bitcoin has been all over the news. Bitcoin has been huge, and all the news with the value. So just having it in MetaMask is big. It's huge.
I'm quite happy about the news you're announcing, and indeed, I'm looking at that. This is wonderful because every time I was using MetaMask in the past, I have been thinking, why are these guys not supporting Bitcoin? This is absurd, because this is the number one cryptocurrency, and um, this is something that we thought about at Web3 Enabler, thinking, okay, even though people are going to use stable coins in Salesforce, they will ask for Bitcoin anyway because that's a prestige argument, of course, but that's also a very a very well spread coin, so everyone is using it to pay. So, wow, I'm super happy to see that MetaMask is now using that. That's pretty cool.
And I'm honestly a bit surprised it took this long for those reasons that you're mentioning.
Perhaps there was a another reason. I don't know, but it's interesting because in terms of technical capabilities, MetaMask was able to support Ethereum and many layer twos like Avalanche, Polygon, and Optimism, and I guess Arbitrum. So these guys were all over the place in terms of technical capability. So that was very strange not to have Bitcoin included, which is a rather simpler ecosystem because it's a tech that appeared earlier. So I'm very happy to see that because MetaMask is a safe product and a reliable one, I think so. So that's very pleasant to see that that the developers at Consensus made this decision. I think in terms of business, it's a good decision for them, but in terms of usability, it gives me a good vibe, and I would be happy to use MetaMask again because of that. And so this episode wouldn't be a perfect real world blockchain episode if I weren't able to give you your perfect treat, your favorite treat, during this episode. Can you imagine what I'm going to talk about now?
Crime of the week.
Yes, crime of the week, lawsuit of the week, scam of the week. So today we're going to talk about Gala Games. It's a strange, strange hack, and so basically Gala Games is a video game studio based on Web3 tech. They mostly have play to earn games, and they faced a major hack and major attack. And that's unfortunately not the first time that this happens to them, but here this was really complicated. And so there's an unknown hacker who exploited their GameFi platform, and that person created 5 billion Gala tokens. So the total value was around $214 million. Quite a quite an amount, indeed. And that person rapidly sold something like 6,000 ETH, so a bit more than $20 million. And Gala Games quickly reacted, limiting, the damage, controlling the damage, and putting this hacker's address on a blacklist, preventing that person to sell more of these tokens. And we don't know exactly why, how. Perhaps the person was intimidated. Perhaps the person thought, okay, let's not face the FBI or a financial inquiry, so let's give the money back. But that person gave the money back, and that person basically restituted the money, and the money came back to a wallet that was held by the company administering Gala Games. So they got some of their money back at the moment, and also investors had a very, very coordinated response. Basically, the investors bought $28 million worth of tokens in order to limit the potential panic attack from all the token holders willing to sell. So there was a really strong crisis management here. And so the hack itself is dramatic, of course, but the way the hack has been managed is quite interesting. Even though they had safety failures, they have a good way of responding to these things. And I think the safety failure has been corrected in less than 45 minutes. So from your experience as a developer, do you think that's an average performance, or do you think they did pretty well in order to how do you think they performed against that crisis despite the failure? Because I think they did quite well. That's really impressive, but you're more technical than me, so what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a really good solution, a really good response that they had, just essentially leveraging how the technology works, how blockchain works, in order to create that solution. It would obviously put any other customers' minds at ease, which is obviously one of the goals of investors. So I think that that was a pretty good strategy. I think that it probably calmed most panicked people's nerves, which is what they need to do, what any incident response needs to do. And Yeah, just knowing the space, knowing the users, and doing it in a way that makes sense for such a platform.
Yeah, and 45 goddamn minutes. That's really a short time. That's not cool to be hacked, but that's something to brag about. Allow me to apologize, dear listeners. It's not $28 million that the investor DWF Labs has purchased. It's 28 million Gala tokens, so it's more like $1 million. Please accept my apologies. But the rest of what we said in this conversation with Zoe is the same. The reasoning and the thought process is the same. Well, any last word about that peculiar hack, Zoe?
No, I'm just that's definitely something that I'm gonna now keep an eye out in terms of what might happen moving forward with them. Game hacking is big, but in the crypto space, it's got to be even more easily scalable. So just seeing them respond as they did is quite comforting and very inspiring to me as a technologist trying to also provide the best solutions.
It's interesting to see that hackers learn, but also safety teams from these blockchain companies also learn, and the community of safety experts is growing as well. So that's wonderful. But be careful, dear listeners. In every huge community where there's a lot of money, there are many suspicious links that you shouldn't click on without checking them very thoroughly. So stay safe on the blockchain.
And
Re-
I really do have to give a big shout out to all of the hacker community getting into Web3 because just getting that research into tooling, into bug bounty programs specifically for these emerging technologies is just so important. It's our responsibility. It needs to happen and needs to happen quickly.
Mm, absolutely. Thank you so much, Zoe, dear listeners. We had a very short episode today, but sometimes we don't need to say much when it's easy to tell you stories. This was Real World Blockchain with Zoe and Gauthier. This episode brought to you by Web3 Enablers, crypto payments app, blockchain payments on Salesforce. Stay tuned for more news and see you next week.